I found one flaw with this Morpheus machine. That song. So, Sleep No More. What I like to call the found footage Love and Monsters. The reason being because this one, a lot of people seem to hate. And I don't know why, because it's not bad. Well, it's not amazing, but it's not bad. I can get dislike, or don't like that much, or not keen, but hate, really. And some people are calling it the worst episode of the Reveiw series. Let remind you of In the Forest of the Night or Fear Her. No, I'm not going to say Love and Monsters because I'm one of the few people who like that episode. And by the sounds of it, I'm one of the few people who like this episode as well. Anyway, on to the cast. Jenna Coleman and Peter Capaldi as the Doctor and Clara. Brilliant. Chemistry really good, and yes, I am recording this after seeing Face the Raven, so I know exactly what's going to happen, and as their second to last episode, yep, they do well. But on to the Expendables. Nagata, played by Elaine Tan. If you don't know, she's the Geordie one, and if you didn't know she was Geordie, I don't know why Mark Gatiss did this. Like, I'm sure most people can recognise somebody with a Geordie accent is from Newcastle. They don't have to say pet at the end of each sentence, because that wouldn't really make a good character going, oh, Dr. Pet, how do we stop them, Pet? Do you have the TARDIS, Pet? That would just be really annoying, and it was. Chopra, played by Neet Mahan, as a guy who died. Yep, he was the longest surviving of the Expendables, and he did well. But his romance, or that weird love romance thing with 474, played by Bethany Black, that was just weird. Now, Bethany Black plays 474, the Grunt, i.e. brain, brawn. But as a character who couldn't really form proper sentences, I don't know why they didn't just get a machine. I know this is like, oh, this is the 38th century. You're humans, you do stuff like this. I'm guessing they're trying to go for that. Or not. I'm not really sure. Dee Pando, played by Paul Courtney Hugh. As the guy, his scene with the annoying GLaDOS-type computer was good. The way he just had to sing the song. Talking of the computer, was I the only one reminded of GLaDOS from Paul? The one they just make life annoying for the people just going, sing the song. You know the song. I was often expecting them to go, do you want me to put the lyrics on screen? Or do you want me to start you off? Fun fact, that computer was voiced by Nikki Wilson, who was the producer. But Mark Gatiss writes this episode. As always, great script. I know Mark Gatiss, as I said in my Robot of Sherwood review, they may not be brilliant, but we are guaranteed decent entertainment. And Justin Molinaikov directed this episode. Weird directing because it was sort of from the point of view shots, so it really did just look like you were just standing there. so it wasn't really that monumental, but for a first found footage episode, good try. And almost forgot somebody. The Morpheus presenter, which was that hologram woman, Zena Badran. Yeah, she was basically just pitching the idea, followed by that really annoying song. Seriously, that song. I know it's called Mr. Sandman, and I'm guessing that's why they played it, but I'm guessing they're trying to go for what they did in Night Terrors with that TikTok nursery rhyme. That was creepy because, well, the voices were creepy. This one, no, they didn't make... I'm not sure how you can make that creepy. Like, there were no creepy voices, it was the original song, and that wasn't really that creepy. So, nice try, I suppose. But the main selling point of this episode, the found footage / point of view / normal filming, it was good. I have to say, for a first effort, brilliant job. There were some things that could have gone that are really weird, like the black and white footage. I know he said that was the Sandmen watching us, but he said that was the point of view shots in colour, so does that include the black and white shots? Because there weren't no CCTV camera footage, and that looked like CCTV camera footage. But overall, this episode, it had a lot holding itself, and you could say that this found footage was restraints, but the twist at the end managed to make them, well, forgivable. Like the patient zero, Rasmussen, played by Reece Shearsmith. Reece Shearsmith did play Patrick Troughton in Adventure in Space and Time. This, though, he does a great job here. He's just a guy who's started being infected, and it's basically the cliched mad scientist, except the mad scientist is trying to... He's thought of a foolproof way, essentially, of getting you to get his Sandmen to populate the Earth, and that was really clever. As I said, the Patient Zero, he said that was really just another Sandman. Talking of which, the scene where in the freezer when they come up with the name for the Sandmen, and the doctor said, "Oh, you can't call them the Sandmen. What do you call them? Dustmen." No way. The way that he actually went for the more correct option, and then he just said, "Dustmen's rubbish, let's go with Sandmen." And it's clever that the way they turn ordinary things against you. Like Wi-Fi, that was done alright. Gas masks. And statues. Well done. But this one, the sleep in your eye, like when you rub it off and the electromagnetic sort of binds them together and makes it become sentient. That was a clever idea, I have to admit. And yeah, I did have some questions about this episode when I first saw it, because it seemed just like Love and Monsters, where Rasmussen was commentating over some footage, like Elton was, and then we were just getting flashbacks to the episode. But unlike Love and Monsters, which is horrifically underrated, I must say, he turns out to be the villain. And as a villain, he does okay. I mean, he's not Dalek type homicidal, and he's not just going to go, "You watch this Doctor, you will watch this footage and I will rule the world." Maniacal laugh. He's very tactical, and it gets better on the second viewing because of when you see it as sort of you know that it's just a recording. And that whoever's choice it was to not include the titles, that was a brilliant idea, just to make it look like a recording and you were watching the recording. And then that ending. Damn. Before I get onto that, Mark Gatiss and a few other people said that they'd like to do a sequel to Sleep No More. I would too, because heck, this story would need a follow-up. Like the Zygon inversion to the 50th anniversary. This one could do with a follow-up, and I hope that happens. And no doubt, if they do a follow-up, it will be with a new companion, whoever that will be. So we'll get so it could be quite different in that sense. But this episode just... some people hate it. I don't know why. I can see why they wouldn't like it, because they wouldn't... not many people like Love and Monsters, so I don't think this episode would be that popular. But it was a very clever episode. Just really clever in the twists and what it does. And it's reminds me of those Mark Gatiss episodes. Like, he does clever stuff. And I feel like his last story, Robot of Sherwood, was let down because obviously they had to delete a scene which was pivotal to the plot, I might add. They had to delete it because of what was in the news. And it just took away from the episodes, and it didn't... that scene's not on the DVD, it's not into that cut. So so it's good that this episode doesn't lose anything due to horrendous things in the news. But this episode, obviously, I don't think the Doctor and Clara are the main focus here. Rasmussen is, because it's his invention, his plan, his death. And I liked it. Like, it's kind of what you see. I feel like this is what a director would be like, or a writer. He's trying to, like in most found footage movies, there are weird edits. Like, I watched a video talking about found footage horror movies, and he pointed out that they say, this is Trilby or Mr. TARDIS Reviews, he pointed out that there are strange edits. Like, it would say it was property of the police department, but yet it's been edited in a way that makes it just look like a normal movie. This episode, I'm glad that they thought, well, hold on, if this is just recordings, why would they edit it in this way? And it's brilliant that he puts the glitches in to make you miss those important moments, so you keep watching. He deliberately makes it interesting so you keep watching. So essentially, he could destroy the world just with a recording and then sit back and relax. And that ending, that was a clever ending, because Rasmussen, obviously, he agreed with Sandman, but then he rubbed his eye away and then it just started collapsing. That was great twist, and then he went all, voice went crazy, and then he just said, oh, you got something there, pointed to your eye, or the corner of your eye, depending where you're sitting. He may have just been pointing to the wall. Who knows? I don't know what your living room arrangements are like. And then he just disintegrates, and then the recording just cuts off. That is how you do an ending. Now, Love and Monsters, this is probably that episode that can be related to it the most. Or tortured with random shoes. Basically, they all have something in common. It's the guy that isn't the Doctor and Clark, or the companion, just talking about it. Now, Random Shoes and Love and Monsters, they're basically normal people. And they could have done it with Rasmussen. He could have just been a scientist that was like, oh, God, my invention's gone horribly wrong. Ah! But he didn't. And making him turning him into the Sandman at the end. And leaving us, let's be honest, on a cliffhanger, because Nagata, Clara and the Doctor got away. We don't know where they ended up. They could have just landed on Jupiter for all we know. And then Rasmussen just disintegrates and he probably got up as the Sandman. Maybe, who knows, he may become some special Sandman leader. But overall, this episode, I really liked it. Because it was clever. It manages to turn its weaknesses into strengths, which not many episodes can do. And when you watch it for a second time, it just makes it a whole lot more better. So, for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Because, yeah, you could say the fan footage was restraint. And some of the soldiers were only there to be killed. And you could say 474 didn't really need to be there. But the filming, the directing, and the world building, this is like Under the Lake and Before the Flood. Relies on atmosphere. And it was very atmospheric. So, 8 out of 10. Next week we have Clara's final episode, Face the Raven. Now, it's the end of the video. You're probably expecting me to do some Sleep No More related thing. Well, I'm not. Or maybe I am. Who knows? Goodbye.